All right. Hey, Jamile, I appreciate you joining me today. I just want to let you know that there is no podcast. This was all a scam just to get you on a video call with me because I'm just a big. Uh,
That sounds perfect to me. Thank you for having me.
Listen, welcome to the Verified Podcast. We get lit, we get fly, we get drunk, we get hot, but to the masses, we a podcast called Verified. Today we have such an amazing woman, Jamile Desouza Davies. I've been following her for so long, low-key stalking, but that's all right though. It's all in a good. Just an amazing woman. The ways that she helps other women and uplifts their spirit and shows them the path to righteousness with the Alpha Project. There's no question in my mind of why she was named one of the 9 most powerful women by USA Today. Without further ado, Jamile, thank you so much for being here. Am I pronouncing your name right? Jamile?
You're saying perfectly. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I love that accent. Where are you calling from right now?
I'm calling from Wales in the UK. Yeah.
Okay. And how's the situation over there with the virus?
Well, you know that the UK is divided into 4 nations, isn't it? We've got England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So although we've got the same prime minister, the nations have taken different approach. So whatever happened in England, Wales ministers have decided to take out 3-4 weeks delay on a decision. So to be totally truthful, we are pretty safe in here. I do live in the countryside, so I have that benefit as well. I'm not in a bigger city, and I personally don't know anybody that has caught COVID.
Oh, God bless. God bless. Well, I thank God that you have not been affected like we have been in New York. I mean,
Yeah.
there's probably now like 15 or 16 people I know that have passed from COVID, and I know hundreds that have actually had it. Thankfully, I've been on lockdown, since this started because I'm just not taking any chances. I've had a couple of health problems in the past. Both my parents have underlying conditions, so I just exercise on the side of caution rather than going and hanging out and doing anything that is not even worth it. I'm just going to stay put, and the only place that I go is my parents. So it's comforting to know that I'm not putting them in danger. So it's a beautiful thing. So thank God that you haven't been affected by it in that way. But let's jump right into it. Where were you born? Tell me about the little Jamile growing up and how you came to blossom into this amazing woman that we all know today.
Thank you very much. Well, I was born in Brazil exactly 39 years ago. I am 39 years young.
Listen, you do, and you shine more than them 21-year-olds. Let me tell you, trust me.
You're such a charmer, you are. And I've always knew that what I want to do was to teach. And when I was very young, my mom was a solicitor. So I told her, and I'm talking about little Jamile, 12 years old. I said to her, look, I'm not going to follow your footsteps. So I want to earn money from studying and teaching others. So she looked at me and said, darling, you need to be a researcher. So that's it. When I first came across the idea that I need to be able to help others, I need to research, I need to learn first. So throughout school and all my academic and personal life, and I'm talking about my outside activities, I've always enjoyed helping others. So let's say, for example, when I was doing ballet, I was always the one that would arrive early or left later because I would like to share with my friends what I knew so they could also do well in exams. At school, I would deliver tutorials to my friends, which is quite scary, because they would all listen to me like, you stay in after class because you need to do well this exam because I'm not going up without you, kind of thing. So I've always knew that I like, because I've always felt like the system complicates knowledge too much. And I used to get it quite easily, but I used to look around at my peers and feel like they didn't. So I thought, I know how to pass that knowledge to you. So when I finished my degree, I went to university when I was 16. So I was very young.
Wow.
Yeah, very young. So when I
My
finished,
mom went to college at a very early age too. She skipped a grade, and I think she started at like 16, 17.
yeah, yeah. It's
So
not common.
she's gonna love you when you come over here.
Oh, I'd love to meet your mom. So I went when I was 16, and when I finished, I knew that to pursue my career in terms of research and being in Brazil, I applied for the two best universities at the time. One was in the UK, and the other one was in Canada. So after researching about both, it was a family decision that we thought the UK would suit me better in the sense that I've always liked to travel and to know culture, and in Europe I would be more exposed to that in the sense that I could go to other places. So I came to the UK to do my first master's degree, and then I did two. Then I started doing a PhD. Then I was hired by the university where I was a student. So
That, that, that that's amazing. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm worthy of having you come over here. It's
don't
like,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
You got degree, PhD. Uh, I gotta up my game up. Hopefully, this platform takes off, and then I'll be able to,
Don't be
I'll be able
ridiculous.
to bask in the shade of your shine.
No, don't be ridiculous. And that's really interesting you saying that, because that was something that I found um, outside my bubble in Brazil. And when I say my bubble, is because that was all that I knew. And when I moved to this country, I realized, and that's the reason why I came, that the university was really valuing knowledge. And in here, I was very valued for what I was producing, for my research, for what I was bringing to the table, rather than just the looks.
That's great. You're
Yeah.
you're like the poster child for how it's supposed to be. It's like, don't judge me by just my beauty. It's like, I got brains also, and I'll research the shit out of anything you put in front of me, and I'm going to give you a 30-page dissertation about it. So I respect it so much. What motivates you now? Like, I mean, now that like you've achieved so much, what is it that keeps you motivated and keeps you going besides checking out my Instagram posts and talking to me?
Well, that's definitely my daily motivation, you know that. Um, I believe that is the fact that there are so many people that are not being taught properly. And when I mean properly, it's not how you do it. It's not what you do it, but how you do it. We all learn in different ways. And I think that's the beauty of social media, which is something that both you and I just not grow up with. We didn't have all those platforms to go and see who can talk to you, who can get you to be a better version of yourself. We had mainstream school, mainstream education, whatever was fed to us via the media, the main
Exactly.
media, the TV, or what the teachers were taught to
And
teach it.
there was only five or six stations. So
Absolutely.
it
Absolutely.
like really, if you really think about it on a deeper sense, and I know that you can see it because of your intellectual level, if you only have six stations, it's like
Mm.
that's the ultimate form of brainwash, because like there's only a couple of means of acquiring the news or the media of what's going on. So whatever they are telling you is, which is which is great. If you think about that, we were all brainwashed as kids. I guess that's why we're so fucked up today.
Absolutely. And I think that that's very limiting, because we are all very capable of developing our intelligence. It's just how each one of us can get to that level that is different. It doesn't mean that one is less intelligent than the other because they just don't get it. Maybe it's the method, how is the things that are being taught to them, they don't get that. And then when
the
like
the application of it all. I mean, for me,
absolutely.
my mother was a teacher. She was a teacher for 40 years, and I mean, you and her are going to get along great. She speaks 5 languages. She used to teach advanced Latin, Italian, French, fluent in Spanish. So,
Nice.
so the upbringing that I had, of my mechanics of how I chose to learn might have been different from someone that didn't have a teacher, in their household. So I can respect exactly what you're saying. It's the method of which, they're actually being taught, or how they're learned to receive that information.
Yeah, and I think that's really sad because you're limiting. There is no competition when people know more. In fact, there is more development of knowledge. And I learned that very well as a lecturer at the university. Nothing will get me more excited than seeing a student that would not just get what I was saying, but would develop the critical thinking and would put into a perspective that they thought or they researched and they developed and they came to some sort of conclusion. And I would be like, right, that's amazing. I've never thought that way. Let's develop this further and let's discuss. So I think the problem, what made me go and do what I do today was this hunger and this passion that I have to distribute knowledge, because I do believe that it's never enough. The more we know, the more we can develop, and then we come to the conclusion the more needs to be done. Misinformation or lack of information or just the choice of not getting informed is what leads us to be where you are at now.
Yeah. Oh, I could not agree more. I wish I had more time on my platform to go into that deeply, because I don't know if you know what's going on over here in across the pond, but it is crazy. The way the people accept the information without actually doing their own research on it is kind of the most irresponsible form of, I don't know, of just willful blindness, I guess. Kind of turning
Yeah.
the blind eye and not realizing, like, all they have to do is lift up their shades, and have the truth exposed to them by just doing a tiny bit of research on their own. So I couldn't really, I couldn't agree more.
It is scary because, let's say, for example, the reality that you live at the moment, UK, the US is a continent on itself. It's so big, so large that somehow you are in that bubble. So and so much goes on between states, between cities, within the country, that sometimes it kind of is tiring to see what is going on outside. Us here in Europe, it's quite funny because, say, for example, I come from Brazil. Just the Amazon, which is one of the states out of the 27, is the size of half of Europe.
My heart goes out to the people in Brazil. It's exploded over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think and I think right now with the pandemic would be irresponsible to force people to get into the knowledge. That's my perspective. And why I'm saying that is because we're all in a survival mode. And when you are in a survival mode, it's about surviving. So let's not look at what is going on outside. Let's just go and look what within inside. Let's not expect that we need to follow what is happening across the globe, because we are different. Every nation knows what's going on. Let's not expect that our friends are checking on us, because our friends need to check on themselves. Let's just be more compassionate.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, now more than ever, I feel like the term "we are the world," the famous song that Michael Jackson wrote, I feel like now more than ever, we need like a global compassion for one another. It's time to stop alienating. Sure, I mean, it's going to be tough because a lot of these countries have some radical beliefs, and it's really hard to force anything on anybody. But the countries and the nations that do have compassion are the nations that are going to survive. So I want your opinion on, what do you think about the fact that the president of Brazil has been so, and I want to use my words wisely because I don't know if he could send a hit squad, out to me, just checking. What do you think about his frivolous acting, and cavalier attitude, and just making it like the virus really didn't exist, and, in public, and touching people, and not, mandating mask wearing, and then to come up testing positive? Is any of your family still in Brazil?
Yeah, significant amount of the majority of my family are there, and thankfully, again, nobody has caught. I would say, I would definitely, and I'm not being political here, okay, because I'm not a PC person. I think that the moment that we stand on the wall is when we deprive ourselves of using our voice. But it would be incredibly responsible of me to say something like that, because I've been living in the UK for 20 years, which means that I have been out of their reality. And yes, I have my family, but I also understand that my family, the ones that I love, views are their views. Yeah, so it is formed based on their reality. So if you are from an observer, yeah, if I'm to stop and look at what is going on in Brazil, being Brazilian, because I cannot detach that side, I would say that it's really scary, especially if you stop and think that during this whole pandemic, I have been on lockdown for 108 days. Brazil went on lockdown after the UK. So we are talking about the fact that the government in Brazil has changed 3 times the health minister. And the reasons for that is because the health ministers cannot agree with how the government is conducting. So that says a lot.
It's quite similar to what's going on here, and I don't want to get political either, but it's just funny that, like, the people that are in charge of the health administration, the inspector generals that basically look out for they're bipartisan, meaning that they're not Republican, they're not Democrat, they are there to serve the people as a public servant. So, and when they get fired for blowing the whistle about things that they foresee, that all of a sudden now we're in a complete, almost a catastrophe. It's almost apocalyptic what's going on. It's crazy that in today's day and age that we are dealing with this. Like, common sense,
it's not common. It's not common.
It's disgusting to even look at humanity. It's like, what the hell has happened to you guys? Like, don't you give a shit anymore? It's crazy. That's why I think that's why
to be truthful with you, when this first came out and you saw all countries and all governments and all people behave in different ways, I would personally hate to be involved with the government right now, because nobody had a manual for this. Yeah, the last time that happened, none of us were here. So it must be really hard to try and respond as quick as the pandemic was attacking the world in a composed and in a safe manner. So I don't think anybody actually knew what they were doing. They just try and test. But then when you don't know what to do, you go and listen to those that actually have some knowledge. And those that do have the knowledge are the health practitioners. So when you have government interest, money, other type of interest jumping into that, that's when you have the conflict. It has affected us all. It has made us all stop to think about it. But I don't think right now there is one particular country that has behaved in a perfect manner. Yeah, it's really like I get asked this question quite a lot. How is Brazil? I mean, how is Brazil? And usually by British people. And what I'm trying to remind them as well is, like, Britain is probably the size of the capital of the state where I come from. We're talking about massive countries. So those numbers that have been presented, they need to be assessed in relation to what? We've got 220 million people in Brazil or more, So you do need to weigh those things, because those numbers that are being promoted, that are being displayed to everyone in the media, they need to be analyzed in relation to what? America's number one. Yes, we got the most populated country in the world. Oh, okay, you got China, but you know what I mean, in the western side. Then you get Brazil. Brazil is also huge. It's the 5th country. So you do need to stop and think about that. In most cases are centralized in cities. Brazil's population are all in the cities. The countryside, there are lots of countryside places that, countryside towns that never even heard what coronavirus is all about. So you just need to stop and use your brain to process the information. So
you see, the processing of the information is just to touch on what you were talking about earlier, in being a teacher. The way that the people process the information is really based on where they're getting that information in the first place. So here in the States, there's such a divisiveness of information that comes out, and a lot of it, stems from, the fact that we have our election coming up in November. So it's like one station is, totally for Trump. The other station is totally against Trump, or not really totally against him. Just points out all the kind of idiotic things that he does. And I can say idiotic because I'm a person that I built my platform to do what I want, so I can say what I want. And, if I get shut down by Donnie Boy, okay, whatever. So I feel like the way that they receive that information also plays a factor into it. So I don't know how the news media in Brazil is kind of reporting it, but the best thing that we can do is use our platform and the fact that we're verified to kind of reach as many people and kind of promote, just a healthy way of being, just like you do with the Alpha Project. I hope you like that little segue into that. So why don't you talk to us about the Alpha Project, which this is your baby. I've seen you basically grow it from the ground up. So why don't you tell us all about it, how some of our female viewers or male viewers can get involved in whatever you're doing.
Yeah, well, the Alpha Project was born very organically and almost in an amateur way. I was a lecturer at uni, but I've always managed to keep my lifestyle, which involved always being able to exercise regardless of where I was. So I've always tried, and the training side of my life has never been for the physical results, and that's something that I speak from my heart, from the truth in my heart, because I've exercised since I was 3 years old, so I don't know any different, to be honest with you. And I've competed, I've been a ballet dancer, I've done gymnastics, I've done a lot of things.
I was just going to ask you, so you did gymnastics?
Yes, I did.
That's great. I was a national champion gymnast when I was.
I know you told me that before. I remember that was one of the first.
If it wasn't so expensive, I probably would have went to the Junior Olympics. But back in the '80s, my family didn't have a lot of money, and gymnastics was like a car payment.
Yeah.
So I understand, but go ahead. So your background, you've always exercised. You've done ballet, you've done gymnastics.
And I also think that the reason why I have achieved in other areas in my life was because of the discipline that I've learned through exercise. Yeah, I knew my schedule was all done around, you could never be part of the main ballet company of where I come from unless you have the grades from school. So I knew that when I was training, it had to be 100% there. When I was studying, it needed to be 100% there. So it did kind of build a path in my life that I've always thought, yeah, this is definitely what I want. And obviously it's for the mind, for the soul, for the spirit, and for the body's health. So the Alpha Project was created to teach, to help everyone to learn that you do not need to depend on anything. You don't need gyms, you don't need equipment when you can become one. Yeah, so it's just
I just love the passion of how you speak, and I don't mean to be praising you all the time just because you're my guest, but sincerely though, I respect so much what you do, and I follow everything that you do, even when you get silly with I tell you that dance, that pump 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 pump.
Always do that.
Rolling. I love it. As I was saying, I love the passion in which you speak, and that's how the Alpha Project really came to be. And I know that you've affected so many women all across the world with it. So before I let you go, I want to get touch on the most recent accolade, which is named one of the 9 most powerful women by USA Today. That I mean, pardon my French, but that is fucking amazing. So
thank you very much. I truly appreciate that. I truly appreciate that. And I think it was what they did, it's the official list, and they were observing. We've been for nearly 4 months of this year, right in lockdown. And when we went on lockdown, I decided that I was going to post every single day something about exercise so people could do at home for free. That was a decision that I made because it was time to give back, was no longer a time to, in my eyes, and I know it's not a reality for everyone, but I am in a position where I can do that, then why not? And then I believe that the birth of the Alpha Project, which was 3 years ago, was to help people doing that, but we never heard of COVID. We didn't know about pandemic. We never knew that we were going to be on lockdown. And I just always try to help people to understand that please don't ever depend on anything other than yourself. and your willingness. So the Alpha Project as a coaching program is to teach you to switch on the mechanism, because it's all about strategies, a program is where you can put things in place, step by step. We can all do it. We don't have only women, we have men, we have athletes, we have people that never exercised before, we have all sorts. And what we try and do is do a specific training program for each person. Why? Because we're all different.
We're all different.
And we're all different. My workout is not going to be the same as yours. So when I was named by the US Today,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
our workouts, definitely not. I couldn't even hang with you, with your work. I mean,
no,
I could do it.
We're all different.
You'll have to teach me, but it'll be customized. Oh, and speaking about athletes, I just interviewed Truck Gordon, and he sends his regards and hopes that you and your family are well.
Thank you. Send my love back, please. And much love. I think like being named. I want to go under the duvet and I want to cry because I don't get much of these titles and because I've never saw like that. You know me before the verification. You know me for a long time, and you know that is always
very humble woman. Very humble woman.
Yeah, but I think we must be, because what we have now, Joe, it can be taken away. All that we have in life is borrowed. If you do not look after it, if you do not give back, it's taken away from you. And I take that very seriously. So when they said that to me, I took like 5 minutes to think like, but why though? Because I've always thought it's my obligation. I have the gift, and why not give back? So having that recognition I can't deny is beautiful. And I just hope that we inspire everyone to understand that it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you do. You can always help others.
I respect that so much, and I mean that's what makes you such a beautiful person. And like you said, I do know you before this, and I do know the nature of your generosity. So for you to able to be recognized by USA Today for what you just knew in your heart you needed to do of just giving back, it's like you didn't ask for USA. Hey, USA Today, check out what I'm doing. They saw it based on your impact, which is it's incredible. Absolutely, you're an inspiration to so many. Like I say to all my guests, if there's ever a time that you ever need anything, my phone is always open to you. If you ever need to, share a success, you need to yell or scream because somebody did you wrong or anything like that, my phone is always open. And
likewise. Likewise, you
got
know that I count you as a friend, and you're very dear to my heart. And I say that despite the 5 hours difference between New York and here, which I always moan on our late night conversations, but I would like to say the same to you.
You're not supposed to talk about our late night conversations.
Wow, but late night for me is probably midday for you.
I'm kidding. That's an expression over there.
I know. We've got to love a banter, but it's the same. And I also believe that it happens for a reason. I think when you do good, you attract good people in your life, and I'm afraid to say there is no divorce from me.
Hey, listen, I'm here for life, baby. Listen, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you? Everyone, I don't know where it's going to be on the screen, but look at the blue check, verified. That's where you could find her.
My Instagram is at Jamile Davies. Then we've got the website there in the bio with is www.jamile.online, and then you've got the Alpha Project where you can sign on, and we've got a waiting list. But I always try. Yeah, we've had a waiting list for the past 9 months, and coronavirus destroyed that. But we are open and we are ready, because there are so many people that actually need, and we are ready for those that are really in need. Those are the challenges that are like the ones that don't want to do anything but need, or they don't know how to start. Those are the ones that
I wish everyone had your passion, so that's why I'm so happy that I had you on here. You're an absolute breath of fresh air. You're a delight during a dark, worryful time in the entire world. And let's stay in contact forever. I will speak to you soon. This is your boy JopauL from the Verified Podcast, brought to you by Radio Pushers and Results in No Hype. We're talking with Jamile Desouza Davies, and I love you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. We out.
Thank you.